Thank you, Andy. Mihkel, coming from Realize, very glad to be here with you today. We're absolutely all about emotions at Realize, so let's talk a bit about them now. It's excellent to follow both Andy and David because they've really laid the groundwork of strategy and frameworks and why this emotional stuff matters and how it exactly fits into what Hershey needs to achieve. So my role now is really to move to the execution. It's like, how do you actually work with emotions and how do you measure and manage them? And also to share is like, how far has this emotional tech come in the first place as well? So very happy to make it conversational. If you have any questions on any points that I make or you disagree or anything, just raise a hand and I'm happy to take questions as we go along. Because we're actually quite, decently placed at Realize to comment on how far the emotion tech has become to be part of daily marketing activities. We don't have external validation for this specific point, but for what we know, we were really the first in the world back in 2012 to run a study of a few hundred people in just a few days, which I think where it really becomes, commercially and time-wise as feasible to do those things that Andy was just describing. And, we kept on doing a few more world firsts as well. I'm happy to share where we're going next if you want to know, because, we're proud about our R&D team. There's like 33 people working on it for 7 years, but it's still pretty early days in terms of where effective computing is, where you can take computer vision, machine learning, and take predictive analytics and put them all together. I think it's going to open up a lot of great things. But here today, we're speaking about ad testing. That's all out there. It's working super well. And, we can really do it in hours now today. You can really come to work and put your ad out there and see at the end of the day of what people's response is. So we spoke about this authentic emotion, and that's really my role is now to show how can you work with that on a day-to-day basis. And as a first thing, I'm going to show you a bit of a video now in terms of how that authentic emotion measurement actually works. So what you see here is an actual sort of viewer of the experience of when we measure their emotions. And you can see the red line there is, the green line there is the happiness reading. We're talking about happiness here today. So you can see how these fairly small expressions that she makes, we can pick them up pretty sensitively, and that's part of the challenge. I mean, that's why we've been cracking at it for 7 years, is that the expressions that people make while they watch your content, they're not necessarily, laughing out loud all the time. So picking them up is important. And this, obviously, just as a disclaimer, we never film those people normally. This is just a special test to show you that, to get a feel of how the testing experience works. Regularly, it's just all privacy safe, automated tracking in a cloud, and we don't need to see what's on your bookshelf or anything. But the other point I want to make with that video is that the experience of collecting that data is also itself, it's authentic. I mean, you see she's on her laptop, which is moving around. Her husband is walking on a background. She's talking. We need to be able to filter out all of those things and get this real, actual reads what people have when they watch your videos. So this is happiness line. I mean, we do all the basic emotions, universal emotions that you might have heard about. Negative is an important signal. We're going to talk about it a bit later as well, and attention. So you get all these readings, and instead of just one person, I mean, you really need at least 300 to make good conclusions out of this. So David's been working with Andy for 10 years. We're really new kids on the block. I think it's only 6 months since we've done those things together, but 24 studies across 9 different brands, and we've also done more than 300 video tests in the chocolate category altogether, so we really have a reference to talk about those things. So I'm going to show you another video now, which you probably might have seen. So a quick question on last year, did you see the Simone Biles video? How many people in the room have actually seen that, which played during the Olympics last year? It's just a few hands. So I'm going to show this video as well. You're going to see it with the engagement line overlaid with the whole video. Engagement is just the sum of all the expressions that we can detect based on facial coding. And I'm going to have a few comments on that video later, but here it comes.
I asked her, why are you always so happy? You know, you're always so smiling, everyone's so focused. She's like, I just gotta go out there and hit those routines and just have fun. That's the ultimate goal. I wish I could spend every day with her. I wish it was that easy, but you know, it's not.
If you wanted to be an elite gymnast, you would have to forfeit the proms, the football games, and all the other normal high school activities. And she made that decision.
Really the biggest thing that she gave up as far as doing the homeschool versus being in high school was the friends. Because she's very much a social person.
She knows that we're there supporting her. And we're always there to support her no matter what, whether it's a good day or a bad day.
I'm scared. Is something gonna pop out? No, I'm really scared. Oh, that's so cute. This is the sweetest thing anyone's ever done. It's a golden ticket. Oh, miss you like crazy, and I love you so much. Love always, Rachel Moore. Think about the things that you have accomplished. Just know that it's just the beginning. That one's from my friend Caitlin. It says, hey Simone, you're always encouraging me to go after my dreams. Well, it's my turn now. Love always, your future maid of honor. I love that one.
Lovely ad. I mean, if you look at this response line here, you know, as it is shown to you on the overall engagement, it's almost like a perfect story arc that we've learned over the 11,000 video campaigns that we've done is really almost the perfect storyline. You have this build up in the beginning, you have this key scene reveal that really engages people, and you end up on a strong note. I mean, this kind of lines and how the emotions work, I think that's one of the reasons why creative people, as Andy said, really actually embrace this data. I think they've kind of felt under pressure for a while that, you know, they've been has to talk in numbers, which really doesn't speak their language, but we are really finding warm welcome in creative people. We're launching a couple of other creative agency partnerships in soon time as well, because it speaks to them in a way that they think as well, and how storytelling for people works with. So it's almost perfect, especially in a TV context where you have a captive audience, right? You're gonna be in front of your TV and watching those ads. We do a lot of work in digital as well. I think in that context, we would probably advise to shrink the build-up part, because you know, 1 minute, 10 seconds in, you know, a lot of people would have been skipped out by that part. So you need to think a bit differently about the storylines in the context that you're going to show it in. But so it really strikes through. So one thing is really to entertain people and grab their attention. You shouldn't really undermine. It's very difficult to achieve because there's so much content out there. But if you don't really get your brand message on top of this, or even if it's not even attributed to brand, even worse, then you know, that's no good for Hershey either. So if you take that same engagement line and now split it up by what you see as a positive, the happiness rate that we have versus the negative, you really see why this particular video was the, you know, absolute jackpot home run in that case, because in this story build-up part, brand was introduced early, so people did know what this was all about. But it's neutral, right? You're still building up the story there. But the key scene reveal where you really see this positive, authentic happiness completely taking over, that was the gift wrapping package. And it really ties back to all of those key attributes that David was talking about, this whole, you know, feeling at home. You know, there was this gift coming from home, the nurtured loved ones, the family dimension was there, and this whole innocent past thing, you know, the childhood friends. So all these key brand messages were exactly shown at that key reveal point. So that's a really powerful ad, and super well done for this creative agency who put that together. Now, one other great thing about this emotion data is that, and we also hear that from creative people, is that they say that it kind of travels the languages and cultures better than claimed response data, because the expressions that we show, by architecture, they are the same everywhere, and maybe the absolute levels are a little bit different, but it's really good to compare how your ad performs in different audience segments and even across different content categories, right? Short videos, audio, long videos. So in this context, we tested all the 66 ads that run at the Rio Olympics last year, and this Simone Biles one really came on absolute top of all of those 66. So you can see that according to our scoring method, which is this emotional score, which we have learned by doing thousands of videos and mapping them to how much people actually liked, shared, viewed, and tweeted about them. There's this very simple 1 to 10 score, and we can rank all the 11,000 videos that we have in our database now against that scoring. And this Hershey particular one, it came out better than 92.5% of all the ads that we've ever tested. So it's really contextually also winner. It kind of win the moment of all the Olympic ads which were running at that point in time. And that matters because there's a lot of academic literature which is still growing, that a lot of our decisions and behavior is driven by emotions. And that's what our data shows as well. So the more people feel, the more they do. So if we map that particular emotional score that we've seen against optional viewing, sharing, and tweeting data, then it's exponential growth. If you really break through on the emotional dimension, people engage with that more. And if you're on message, then that engagement is going to be the right one as well. I mean, you can obviously cut through on negative ones and get all sorts of other chatter as well, which might not be on brand. But as we saw in this particular case, the engagement point was really talking to all the key brand attributes, and I'm pretty sure got Hershey the right kind of share of voice that you were looking to have.